So, and I have a question for you, a really good question. What about all those contradictions in the Bible, especially in the Gospels?
Yeah, okay. Well, this is one we hear a lot. And I think it's really important when you're asked that. And once again, as you see it read there, it's asked almost like a statement. It's just a given that they're there. There's just a given that there's all these contradictions in the Bible, especially in the Gospel. So, hey, what's up with that? And I really think you need, first of all, to clarify. It's hard to answer just these vague generalities. Give me something specific. And so usually what I do when I face somebody like that is I ask them, show me one. Show me one of those contradictions in the Bible. Especially in the Gospel. Show me some of those. And what I found is the vast majority of the time, they can't show me one. They can't show me one of the contradictions. They just heard about it. And, I tell them that, I've read the Bible over and over again for the last almost 30 years, and I haven't found them yet. But if you could tell me a story, a general theme, I could probably find it in here. And once again, they're not able to find it. And so what I like to do is find them for them. Because there are some really sticky passages, especially in the Gospel, that I think it's okay for us to kind of wrestle over and try to figure out. As Sean here answered the question about doubt. The great thing about the Christian faith is that you can doubt it, and it stands up to your doubt, and it'll stand up to your questions. And so, some of the ones that I usually will turn to is like that's real popular is what about those genealogies? There's a genealogy in Matthew and there's a genealogy in Luke, and you put them side by side and they're not the same. What's up with that? That's a contradiction because they both can't be true. Well, they can both be true because I have a father and I have a mother. And, as my buddy Rocky back there has done some genealogy on my family, he sees where those two lines take us. And, if you look at the genealogy in the Gospel of Matthew, you're seeing Jesus' legal line through Solomon and King David, his legal right to reign on the throne of Israel as its king. And it goes through his adopted father, Joseph, where if you look at the genealogy in the Gospel of Luke, it traces its way all the way back to Adam, because the purpose, kind of the theme of that genealogy is showing Jesus as the perfect man. And it traces it through his mother. And it mentions his father, but it mentions his father as not being his actual father. And so that's one of them. Another one of my favorites is, you see in the Gospels that there's a time where this Jesus is on his way into Jericho, and there's this blind dude, and he's like, "Hey, son of David, have mercy on me." And the disciples are like, "Shh, shh, shh." And he's like, "No, son of David, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." And so Jesus comes over and he heals the guy, and then he heads on into Jericho. That's pretty simple story. Except in another one of the Gospels, it says Jesus was actually leaving Jericho, and there's this blind guy at the side of the road, and he's like, "Hey, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me." And the disciples were like, "Shh." And Jesus said, "Okay, I'll go over there." And he heals the guy, and then he continues to leave Jericho. What's the deal with that? Did the first blind guy say, "This is a good deal, I know what to say now," and he runs to the other side of town and he tells the other blind guy, say, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me"? Okay, and so the guy does it? I guess that's plausible, but a better explanation is that at the time of Christ, there were actually two Jerichos. They were both called Jericho. One was on the hill, and it was built on the rubble of the destroyed city of Jericho, and there are a lot of people who lived there. And then one was a little bit down the hill, and that was the main city of Jericho. So really, when Jesus healed this blind guy, he was probably leaving Jericho and going to Jericho. And, maybe Matthew was pointed this way and sees him leaving Jericho. And Peter, who gave Luke the information, and Peter and Paul gave Luke the information about the Gospel of Luke, were pointed this way, and they see him going into Jericho, but both are true. I think it's important to understand what a contradiction is. You can't violate the laws of non-contradiction. It can't be two things that are opposite to each other, can't be true at the same time in the same way. I can't be dead right now and alive right now unless my definitions are just vastly different for dead and alive. And I think that's what you need to look for in the Scripture. So, all right. Well, I have one. By the way, there's a great little book called When Critics Ask by Norm Geisler. It's just a whole commentary that's devoted to hard questions and these apparent contradictions. Great resource.